versus Kobina Idubohe and 3 others, and that of the Republic versus Solomon Asamoah and another. That is the SkyTrain case. In the Kobina Idubohe case, we are calling only 3 prosecution witnesses. Our first witness has concluded his testimony. But for the 3rd accused person's sudden withdrawal in open court of a lawyer's service, our first witness would have been discharged to give way to the 2nd prosecution witness to start testifying. We expect our 2nd witness to start testifying before the beginning of the legal vacation on July 31st, 2025. In the SkyTrain trial, we have concluded the case management conference. It is important to add that, but for the change of solicitors and the multiple medical excuses of the 2nd accused person, that is Prof. Ameyaw Ikumfi, and recently of the lawyer for the 1st accused person, we would have called 2 of the 6 witnesses by now. That notwithstanding, the trial in the SkyTrain case is expected to start before the beginning of the legal vacation. The National Service Authority scandal case was due to be filed last week, as promised, when we stumbled upon evidence of malfeasance involving an account at the Bank of Ghana to which had been transferred an amount of 189 million Ghana cedis. Out of this amount, 80 million Ghana cedis cannot be traced. But we found 2 checks bearing the name and account details of the former Director General, Mr. Osei Asibe, which had been used to withdraw funds totaling a little under 2 million Ghana cedis from the said account. We have therefore halted the filing of charges so as to await the receipt of the evidence from the relevant state agencies, including the Bank of Ghana, Ministry of Finance, and the Controller and Accountant General's Department. In fact, as I speak, the Bank of Ghana signaled to me that this morning they are going to deliver the entire, bank statement, for my attention. I am, however, thank you. Sorry. I am, however, happy to announce that at least 8 suspects in this investigation have approached my office for plea negotiations, including 3 former officers of the National Service Authority. Some officials have offered to testify against their colleagues, and some vendors and service providers are willing to come clean and testify as prosecution witnesses. When you build your docket well, this is the result that you get. 8, people are willing to testify. Persons, they are not coming to say hearsay. They are not coming to give hearsay evidence. People who were involved, okay? And we are, in negotiations with them and their lawyers, as a precondition, I tell them, you bring back the money that we have calculated that you took, you serve as a prosecution witness. That is the approach that we are using. Now, I'm sure the MPP will be very happy for me to insist that 100% be returned to the Attorney General before any deal can be, cut. Now, a report on the docket for the oral cases, including the mathematical sets, the All Africa Games, and the DRIP scandals are being prepared by the National Investigation Bureau for my attention. I expect to receive that investigative report in a few weeks for work to begin on filing charges in court. The Economic and Organized Crime Office has completed investigations in respect of Wuntumi, Chairman Wuntumi, and the former National Buffer Stock Company CEO, Mr. Abdul Wahab Hanan, and their accomplices. The results of both investigations will be announced very soon. The police CID have also completed a docket on the Akonta mining case and submitted same to my office. We have prepared charges and sent them back to the police CID for the suspects to be formally charged before their arraignment in court in the coming days. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow countrymen and women, in conclusion, I wish to remind you of the fact that when I announced the Kobina Idubohe investigation, I was blunt in stating the fact that I am open to engaging in plea bargaining with those who have been investigated and found to have looted or stolen state resources. I minced no words about my intentions and will therefore not shut the door to any accused person willing to enter into negotiations with my office for purposes of reaching a plea agreement. My approach is in consonance with the central plank of the oral, which is to recover the loot, which is to recover all the loot. But of course, you use oral, all advisedly, because as I pointed out clearly, it is not in all cases that it is possible to recover all the loot. So you recover some, realistically possible. Of course, recovering the loot and jailing looters are not mutually exclusive. And I believe that that is what citizens are pushing for. In other words, both can take place, and that will be full-fledged accountability. But anyone familiar with the plea negotiations would agree that it is rare to go into the negotiation room and come out without giving up something in order to clinch a deal. Our plea bargain statute captures that succinctly, as it contemplates that the Attorney General may even go to the extent of dropping charges in exchange for restitution. Also, under the Costs Act 1993, Act 459, an accused may plead guilty to a charge or charges and pay restitution where the offense involves harm to the property of the Republic, including financial resources. In that case, the accused is to be handed a non-custodial sentence. As the Attorney General, I will not oppose the use of Section 35 of the Costs Act to achieve the purposes of oral. Now, Section 35 is mandatory. Once the accused approaches the judge, okay, and pleads guilty to the charge, the judge is mandated, the judge could reject the restitution or reject the offer of the accused person. But once the judge accepts the offer of the accused person, I have no role in it, all right? Then the accused person must be given a non-custodial sentence. In other words, the accused person will walk home. So those who are saying that you are cutting a deal and letting criminals walk must understand that, okay, even the legislative framework existing at the time that I was in law school, I was in final year in Legon when this act was enacted, okay, contemplates that in some cases, the accused can pay restitution and get a non-custodial sentence. So if any accused person offers to come under Section 35, please, ladies and gentlemen, that is what Parliament has enacted. The Parliament of the first Parliament of the Fourth Republic. Do not expect that I will be able to say, do not impose. If once the judge accepts it, okay, I can make my representation to the judge as to why this is not a fit and proper case for restitution and a non-custodial sentence. Okay, but that can be rejected because the statute imposes, right, the power and authority to determine the circumstances under which that will happen in the judge, not in the Attorney General. The Plea Bargain Act, on the other hand, okay, imposes the power and authority to, negotiate the deal in the Attorney General. However, the judge has a role to play. The plea agreement must be endorsed by the judge before, it is accepted. Finally, make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, about my intentions. I want to jail persons who have looted state resources, but at the same time, I am pragmatic enough to know that it is not in every instance that that is possible. In those circumstances, I will opt for non-conviction-based asset recovery. I thank you very much.